everybody, and welcome back to Cooking It Real. My name is Kathy, and I'm so glad that you could spend this time in the kitchen with me today. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to make something really fun and delicious with your sourdough starter discard. Now, if you've been following along with me lately, you know that we have gone through a series of how to build a sourdough starter from scratch. And if you have been doing that and following along, you might be at the point right now, you may not, but you might be, where you can use your sourdough starter. You might have already made some bread and you're wondering, can I use my starter? What can I use it for? Well, today I'm going to show you how to make Cheez-It crackers. Everybody loves Cheez-Its. If I could make them into little goldfish shapes, I would. These are going to be super delicious and a little bit spicy. I'm going to add just a little bit extra to it. So let's get started. Now, the first thing that I need to do is show you my sourdough starter. Now, this is not the sourdough starter that I made with you all in my last starter video, but this is my 1.5-year-old starter. I took this out of the refrigerator today, and I want to show you what it looks like just coming out of the fridge. Hold on, I'm going to give you a close-up. Can you see that? It's bubbly, not too bubbly though, but it doesn't have any hooch on it. It's been in the fridge for about a week. I baked some bread not that long ago. But I fed it before I put it in the fridge after I made my bread. And but I haven't fed it yet because I need 1 cup of unfed starter discard. So this is going to be my discard. And then I'm going to feed this and make bread with it tomorrow. So let's see. First, I'm going to take my spoon. I'm going to stir this down a little bit. That kind of knocks all the bubbles out because they're not that strong. Hasn't been fed. And now I'm just going to pour myself 1 cup of the starter. Now, that's good. I'll take a little bit more out there. Now you see, I don't have very much left in there, but I don't need very much. Let's see, as long as I have about 50 grams, I'll be fine to make my new batch of starter. So let me grab my scale and the new jar that I'm going to be making feeding my starter in to use tomorrow. And let me just see how much I have. And I'm going to put things down low so you can see. Okay, so I have my newly cleaned jar. I have the remainder of my starter. I'm at 0 kilograms. Let's see how much I have. Do I have at least 50? It's 47. I got 50. All right. Here we go. $52. Perfect. All right, this is going to go into the get washed. This is going to go off to the side for now. And we're going to start working on our dough. I've measured out 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And to that, we are going to add 4 tablespoons of regular butter. This is unsalted butter. That's a 1/2 stick. And this is at room temperature. It's soft but not melted. I'm going to supposed to add a 1/2 cup of cheese, but I like to add a little more. This is just extra sharp cheddar cheese that I hand grated on a grater. If you have the grated cheese in a bag, you can use that. I'm not a big fan of like the anti-caking agent that they put on it, so I prefer to grate my own, but it really doesn't make that much difference. All right, and then I just need a little bit of salt, and husband and I are trying to cut down on salt, so I'm just going to add like a 1/2 teaspoon because we're going to add a little bit more on top. And then I'm going to add some of the Korean red pepper flakes that you might have seen when Caleb and I did kimchi. And I think I'm going to add a good 1.5 tablespoons of that. Now, if you don't have this and you want to add a little zing, you could add some cayenne pepper. If you don't want any zing at all, you can totally leave it out. You might want to add some herbs or something like that. You can really make this any way you want. It's very forgiving. Now, here's my 1 cup of starter that I poured from my jar, unfed starter, discard. And I just pour that in. All of it goes in. Doop, doop, doop. Good. And we mix this up. Kind of mashing that butter into the flour a little bit. And just working it in. We're trying to make a nice little dough. It's not going to be stiff, but it's not going to be soft and sticky. It's going to be just right. I'm going to just get this going a little bit, and then I'm going to put it on the board, or I'm going to work it with my hands in the bowl, I think. Get all that goodness out there. I think this is going to make a bit of a mess. Let's see. I might be premature in putting my hands in here, but we'll see. It's all good. Oh yeah, that's coming together nice. Okay, I'm gonna put this out on the board, dump out the rest of the flour that's in here. And you know, you can make this with any kind of cheese that you like. I have made it before with Parmesan cheese, grated Parmesan. Now where I used a half a cup of this cheddar, I would probably only use about a quarter cup, or maybe a heaping quarter cup, if you know me, of the Parmesan, mostly because it's a stronger tasting cheese. And I would definitely cut back on the salt because it is also a salty cheese. That's looking good. This is almost ready to go. What we're going to do, once we get this formed into a cohesive dough, which this is we're going to divide it in half and wrap it up in plastic and put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. All right, let's see. Let's kind of make a ball, kind of decide what's half. Just break it up a little bit. There we go. Into a ball, into another ball. Get some plastic. And this is gonna chill. Get all nice and chill, ready to be worked on. This goes really fast. This is really the most time-consuming thing about this whole experience is just waiting that 30 minutes. All right, into the fridge. While we're waiting for those dough balls to chill, I'm going to feed my starter for tomorrow. Now, if you watched my bread video where I made my sourdough loaf, you know that I use the 1-to-2 ratio of feeding my starter when I'm getting ready to use it for baking. So 1 is the 52 grams of starter that I measured out from my discard. So 2 times 52 would be 104. So we're going to start with, where's my water? Here it is. 104 grams of water. And don't pour too fast because water's kind of heavy. And see, I poured a little too fast. I got 118. Not a problem. So now we're going to do 118 of flour. Flour and water are going to be the same. So I set it to 0 again. And because I use both AP and bread flour, I'm going to use 50-50. So 118 divided by 2 would be 59. Yeah, 59 grams of all-purpose flour, 59 grams of bread flour. First, I'm going to give the water in the starter a little bit of stir to give it a head start. Okay, get it back to 0. That's good. Now, what did I say? 59. All right, so 59. And I like to use a quarter cup measuring spoon when I do this. Oh, 50, because otherwise I wind up making a huge mess. 59 exactly. All right, I'm going to set it to 0 again and do 59 of my bread flour. $40, $49, $52, $56, $58, $59. Ta-da! Okay, so now we'll give this a good stir. And I'm going to let this sit out on my counter overnight. And by the time tomorrow morning rolls around, it's about 6:30 right now in the evening, early evening. This beautiful May day. Still light outside. Love daylight savings time. All right, I'm going to put all that in there. I'm going to put my lid on, not too tight, just like set it on, and that's fine. And I'm just going to set that aside, and it'll be ready for me tomorrow to do my baking. It should, I just eyeball it. A lot of people put a rubber band around the bottom so they can absolutely measure the amount of rise, but I know that overnight it's going to get just where I need it to be. All right, so we'll be back when those things are ready to roll out. It's been 30 minutes. Now we're going to take out one of our dough balls, and I'm going to take a small piece of parchment paper and give it a little flour on the bottom. Might need something a little bigger than this. A little flour on the top of this. And we're going to roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch. Now the reason I'm using this small piece of parchment is that I'm going to put it inside this 1/4 sheet pan, and this size just fits perfectly. I may have to rethink this, we'll see. If so, you will never see this footage. That's looking pretty already, isn't it? I love the yellow of the cheese and the red of the pepper flake. I think I need a little more flour on top here. I set my oven, I'm preheating it to 350 while we roll this out. Of course, if you have a bigger sheet of parchment and a bigger tray, that might be the smarter move. We'll see. And you're just kind of, what you really are going for is an overall thickness, because if it's too thick in the middle and too thin on the edges, then the middle won't cook enough and the edges will be overcooked, and you'll just have an inconsistent cracker. And who wants that? Nobody. Nobody, that's who. All right. Where are we going here? I'm going to hold this up and see if you can see how thick that is. Can you tell? Would you say that's 1/8 of an inch? I think I'm going to go a little bit thinner. And I might just cut these edges down some and like re-roll them, like as if you're doing cookie dough, sugar cookies or biscuits or something like that. We'll just save some scraps and just redo it. Yeah, I'm feeling a little better about this. Okay. All right. Yeah, I totally overestimated how much room I needed. All right, now this is like a ravioli cutter that I've had for a billion years. And I'm just gonna use it to take off the sides. The good thing about these is you could throw that on a sheet pan just like that and make a cracker like that, and it would be so fun and just still so good. They don't have to look perfect, although like if you're having a party, you know, when you want to make these crackers or you're giving them as a gift, you might want to take a little more care to make them nice and pretty. But hey, it's part of the fun. Okay, now let's see. All right, I want to take some extra virgin olive oil. Let me see. This edge is just a little thick. I'm just going to give that a woomph. Yeah, and I'm going to just give a little smudge. Brush that on, just like so. Not a lot. You don't need a lot. And then I'm going to take, we need to poke little holes in it. Now you can use a fork, but I use this. I don't know what the real name for these are. I call them turkey pins. You know, the things that you use to truss up your turkey. And the reason you poke some holes in it is so it doesn't like bubble up as it's baking. You don't have to get crazy about it. And if you want your crackers to really look like Cheez-Its, I do have a tip, because the next thing we're going to do is score these crackers, but you could score them and then just put like one hole in the middle, how real Cheez-Its have, just one little hole. But that's totally up to you. It's best to go in a grid pattern so you don't forget where you have put holes and haven't put holes. I forget already. Okay. The next thing we need to do is do a little bit of scoring. I like to use my fluted edge for this, even though it doesn't really matter because you can't see the flutes in the end. But I like to go, here, let me move this out. I like to go one way, then the other way, then the other way. And this helps to keep the paper from shifting and the dough from shifting. And these crackers, like I said, they're not perfect. So you can make them whatever size you want. You can make them big, you can make them small. There's no mistakes. It's all good. All right, now we just take a tiny bit of salt, as much as you like, and just sprinkle it over the top. We take our sheet pan, and I'm going to lift up the corners of this cracker and just slide it on like this. And as soon as the oven is preheated, it'll go right in. Okay, so our second batch is done. It was in for a total of 27 minutes. And then I added 2 more because I thought it needed it. And when I took them out, I was testing them. It seemed a little bit soft, and I thought I'm going to give it 2 more. But then I looked at these guys, my first batch, who've been sitting cooling the whole time these were baking, and I tasted one, and having sat here and gotten cool, they're way more crunchy. So I'm calling this done. Now we got our final batch, which is the scraps. That's going in. I think this one is a little bit thinner, so I'm going to start at 22 and see how that goes. Stay tuned to see how our crackers turn out. Want to know how many we got? You shall see. So while we're waiting for our final batch of discard cheesy crackers to come out of the oven, let me tell you about what I plan for the next few videos. I really want to continue on the sourdough journey with you. I have many more discard recipes that I'd love to share with you. I have a few more baked good recipes that I'd love to share with you. You saw me make my regular loaf and my raisin bread. I'm thinking cinnamon rolls. Yeah. And as far as discard, I'm thinking tortillas. I'm thinking pizza dough. There's a lot that you can explore. And I'd love you to come along with me. And on that note, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up and hit that notification bell. Ding, ding. That way, when I upload a video, you'll get a notification and you won't miss a thing. Oopsie daisy, lost our audio. This is about 9 3/4 ounces. I weighed it, and that's about a good sized box of Cheez-Its. The good thing about these Cheez-Its, though, is that you know exactly what's in it. There's no preservatives, no additives, nothing that you don't want in your Cheez-Its. This is a very easy recipe, and it's been very fun to share with you. I hope you try it. If you do, please leave a comment below and let me know how it worked out for you. And if you have any questions or anything else you want to say, anything you want to see in the future, put that down in the comment below as well. Sorry about the audio snafu, guys. Bye. See you next time.